Miss White parties that was thrown by Sean Combs in the Hamptons. What was that experience like?
At first, he was incredibly friendly, very gracious.
That he'd not told anyone about this until he spoke, I think, to his attorneys. How difficult will it be to...
Another lawsuit has dropped against Sean Diddy Combs, and this one is a doozy. At this point, we're losing count. Is this lawsuit number 2025? It feels like Diddy's legal troubles are multiplying faster than his Bad Boy Records hits. But this latest case, it's not just another accusation, it's a bombshell that ties directly into the modus operandi of the other allegations against him, and guess what? There are receipts. The lawsuit, filed by an anonymous musician referred to as John Doe, alleges that Diddy lured him to an exclusive A-list party in November 2022 under the guise of a life-changing opportunity. Spoiler alert, it was life-changing, but not in the way the young musician hoped. According to the lawsuit, Doe was approached by a man in a Bad Boy Records hat, because apparently that's the uniform for Diddy's alleged scouts, who invited him to a private party. Sound familiar? It should. This is the same MO described in previous lawsuits, including the one involving Rodney Lil Rod Jones. Here's where it gets dark, and not in a dark humor way, but in a what the actual hell way. Doe claims he was drugged, assaulted, and left traumatized after Diddy allegedly pressured him into non-consensual acts. The details are graphic, disturbing, and paint a picture of a man who allegedly uses his power, wealth, and influence to prey on vulnerable individuals. And let's not forget, this isn't the first time we've heard this story. From Lil Rod to the 13-year-old girl in the Jay-Z case, the pattern is eerily consistent, but here's the kicker. Doe claims there were other A-listers at the party. Who were they? What did they see? And why hasn't anyone spoken up? It's like a twisted episode of Law and Order, Hip Hop Edition, and we're all just waiting for the next plot twist. Diddy's kids must be having a real hard time explaining this one at family dinners. So, Dad, about these lawsuits, and let's talk about Kanye West for a second. Remember when he was out here defending Diddy like they were besties? Yeah, that's not aging well. Kanye and Bianca might want to rethink their PR strategy, because aligning yourself with someone facing this many allegations is a choice. The lawsuit also mentions that Doe was driven to and from the party in an all-black Escalade, because of course it was. At this point, Diddy's alleged crimes are starting to feel like a poorly written thriller novel. All black Escalade? Check. Private room? Check. Drugged drinks? Check. It's like he's following a predator's playbook, and it's not a good look. What's even more infuriating is the timeline. Doe says he didn't report the assault because he was humiliated and feared Diddy's power. And honestly, can you blame him? When you're up against a billionaire mogul with an army of lawyers, speaking out feels like a losing battle. But thanks to New York's Adult Survivors Act, victims like Doe have a chance to seek justice until February 28, 2025, that is. So if you've got a story to tell, now's the time to tell it. As for Diddy, it's not looking good. The feds are circling, the lawsuits are piling up, and the court of public opinion has already reached a verdict. At this rate, Diddy might want to start preparing for a different kind of bad boy legacy, one that involves orange jumpsuits and a very different kind of party. Stay tuned, because this story is far from over. And to anyone out there who's been through something similar, we see you, we hear you, and we hope you get the justice you deserve. Let's break down the lawsuit piece by piece, because the devil is in the details. And in this case, the details are horrifying. According to the complaint, John Doe is a young musician who traveled to Los Angeles in late October 2022 to pursue his dreams. On November 4th, 2022, he was performing on the street near a popular nightclub when he was approached by a man dressed in dark clothing, wearing sunglasses, and sporting a Bad Boy Records hat. The man complimented Doe's talent and told him he was a scout for Diddy Diddy, who was allegedly looking for emerging talent. This is where the red flags start waving. The scout told Doe that Diddy was hosting an exclusive A-list birthday party that night and invited him to attend. Doe, thinking this was his big break, agreed. The scout exchanged contact information with Doe and promised to send a driver to pick him up. About an hour and a half later, a driver in an all-black Cadillac Escalade arrived to take Doe to the party. Doe was not given the address of the party, which was held at a private home. Upon arrival, Doe was introduced to Diddy, who allegedly said, "So you must be gamey," referring to Doe's stage name. Diddy complimented Doe's voice and offered him a drink, which Doe accepted. As the conversation progressed, Diddy allegedly began making promises about helping Doe secure a major recording contract. He also complimented Doe's chain and offered to show him his jewelry collection. Doe, still thinking this was a legitimate opportunity, agreed to follow Diddy to a private room. But here's where things take a dark turn. Doe claims he began to feel strange, drowsy, euphoric, and off balance after consuming the drink. He later realized he had been drugged with a substance believed to be rohypnol, commonly known as a roofie. In the private room, Diddy allegedly asked Doe if he had ever performed oral sex on a man. When Doe said no, Diddy reportedly responded, "You should try it," before making aggressive advances. Doe repeatedly refused, but Diddy allegedly persisted, eventually forcing himself on Doe. The lawsuit describes the assault in graphic detail, alleging that Diddy orally raped Doe before sodomizing him. Doe claims he was left incapacitated on the edge of the bed and was unable to leave until the next morning when an unknown person administered him an IV and told him his ride was waiting outside. Doe was driven back to the nightclub and dropped off with no further contact from Diddy or his team. The lawsuit states that Doe suffered severe emotional and psychological trauma as a result of the assault, including pain, suffering, mental anguish, and humiliation. What makes this lawsuit particularly damning is how closely it mirrors previous allegations against Diddy. From Lil Rod's claims of being sexually harassed and assaulted during his time working with Diddy to the allegations made by a 13-year-old girl in the Jay-Z case, the pattern is disturbingly consistent. In each case, the accusers describe being lured into Diddy's orbit with promises of career opportunities only to be drugged, assaulted, and left traumatized. The use of all-black vehicles, private rooms, and drugged drinks appears to be a recurring theme, suggesting a systematic approach to these alleged crimes. And let's not forget the A-listers. Doe claims there were other high-profile individuals at the party, raising questions about who else might have witnessed or participated in these alleged abuses. Why haven't they come forward? What do they know? And how deep does this rabbit hole go? With multiple lawsuits pending and the feds reportedly investigating, Diddy's future looks increasingly uncertain. The court of public opinion has already turned against him, and his once sterling reputation is in tatters. But the real question is, will justice be served? For too long, powerful men like Diddy have been able to evade accountability, using their wealth and influence to silence victims and manipulate the system. But with the tide turning against him, Diddy may finally be facing the consequences of his alleged actions. Let's ensure that justice is served for John Doe, for Lil Rod, for the 13-year-old girl, and for all the victims who have yet to come forward